YisraYah'ale, sitting here on a blistery, somewhat cold night here in Jefferson, South Carolina. We welcome you that have joined us. As I began the teaching on last night concerning the Moedim, the feast days, the times, the season, that I must say that I am ignorant, and we all have, because of the ignorance of our forefathers, there are many things we don't know, and we are a nation of people that we do not like to confront our ills. We don't believe that there is nothing out of my reach I cannot comprehend, understand, that I may use that to facilitate my opinion, the concept that I teach. I've seen this teaching and concepts over a long period of time and how things change all the time within the doctrine of many of these groups. Let me give you an example. I recall you in the 2000s, those that call themselves Hebrew Israelites, and many of the groups still retain that same element. I will simply call it ignorance. You will see them on the corners of New York City, Brooklyn, everywhere, Bronx. And they will identify those that identified as Africans, many of them, dirty, stinking Africans. Yet that was going to be this cataclysmic mayhem that would happen in 2000. And they will call the Africans, those that go by that continent's name, Africa, they will call them dirty, stinking Africans. Yet the hue of their skin was as dark or darker than ours. They were not included in the fellowship of Shekha or esteeming Yah. The videos are still up there. And I look, and now they are embracing those from that continent. Wow. What a change of their theses or their theology. I've seen too much of it over my years of life and experience. But that is not what I want to teach on tonight. I want to continue on concerning the Moedim, the feast of Yah. How they are so discombobulated, no one knows. We choose whatever we think is appropriate. And we witness to that which accommodates us. But the Moedim of Yah, they are not meant to accommodate us. They are meant from the Bereshit of the creation with Noach, Menlach Avraham. And it was the zera of the seeds, when they pass on, that they stop keeping them. But I want to bring out some finite points tonight. Let me go back to Jubilees, chapter 6, and verse 18. I want to read this. If you have the writings of Jubilees, I want to read this. Chapter 6, verse 18. It says, and this whole Moed festival was celebrated in Hashemayim in the heavens, from the day of its creation to the days of Noach, the 26th Jubilee, and 5 weeks of the year. And Noach and his sons observed it 7 Jubilees, and 1 week of the year. He's talking about the Feast of Weeks here. Celebration, 7 days of jubilation, fellowship, embracing, carrying. And then understanding the great creation of Yah, the elements, and see the beauty of one another. But look at what happened. I do apologize. I don't have a cold, but my voice is somewhat stretchy. Forgive me. Look what it says here in Jubilees 6:18. It talks about this 1 week of the year till the day of Noah's death. It has parentheses here, a total of 350 years. Till the day of Noah's death. I want you to hear this carefully. It says, from the day Noah's death, his sons did away with it. There were no more acts, no celebration of Yah for this great turbulence that he brought Noah out to celebrate him in every celebratory way. We were brought up with Christmas and the lies of Christmas and Thanksgiving and Fourth. I understood the history of those things even really before I even knew Yah. And I knew that they were wrong. And so that was a disbarment from my natural biological family, because I told them I would not be a part of it. And so when I began to understand the Mo'adim of Yah, I wanted to understand, I wanted to learn. I wanted to be taught. And many of the leaders would put out the feast days, and there I have never seen, go on the web, YouTube, and see if you can find one that teach the determinate time of Yah and show you the process. There is no one. And if you find one, send that to me. Send that to me, the voice of victory @gmail.com, because I want to observe that. So Noah, he died. This, the Moed, the Feast of Weeks, and all of the celebratory times of Yah, his sons did away with it. It did not even come into focus again until Abraham, the days of Abraham. And they ate blood, but Abraham, he observed it. Yitzhak and Yaakov, his children, they Shema, they saw the beauty, they observed it up to your days, and in your days, the children, in our days now, it says the children of YisraYah'ale forgot it until you celebrated it anew on the mountain, on this mountain. It was done away with. No one recalled the process, the time, and the days, just like we do not today. We have such a disboculated process that no one explained the process to anyone. You got those that believe that they are the Chanukh, celebratory feast days. I know of one group, but I think you have to send a sum of money to get their calendar. If Yah has freely given that to you, freely given, we receive, so we freely give. Because I've never found a Chanukh calendar with the 365 days, which Jubilees talk of, and also Chanukh, 364 days, not the 365 of the American way. And the process that you do and the way you keep it, it is absolutely wrong. It is not right. I want to stand up for a moment, and I want to show us something here on the board. All right? Can I do that? Will you all bear with me? I want to stand up, bear with me, and we may have to adjust the camera here, and I want to show you something. And you see me quite visibly. Let me stand here, nation. Just turn that to my direction, please. Hurry. All right? You lift it up somewhat. At my head, yeah, all right. This is how we celebrate what we call our Mo'adim. Year one, it is 353 days. Even if you add the Eponic day or the 12 days that Hanoch will talk about, he talks about, you will never get 364, you get 365. You're going to keep it either 354, you're going to keep it 354, you're going to keep it 355, and then when you use your equinox, when you use that, the day is lengthened to make sure that you come to that time and season is either 383, 384, and you don't know, so you don't know which way to go, or it's 385. That's the process. Now I will show you how that process goes and how they determine that. But 1 year will be 353 days. The next year will be 354 days. And then it will be 383 days. Now, concerning the time of Hanoch, show me a 365 and how do you gain that? Tell me how. Why no one explains that to us? No one. It's through my aggressive nature of researching this book and trying to find the process of this order. It all came from those that we'll call the Ashkenazi Jews. And you Hebrew Israelites, you call yourself Jews, but the word has no definitive. What is a Jew? What is a Jew? A Yahudai? But we buy this because our ignorance allows us to be succumbed to this. Then 1 year you go to keep it. The next one, 354, 355. And then you go to keep it 384 days. That's how you keep it. Has nothing to do with the calendar of Enoch-Honoch. These are the times 384, 385, 383. It is the equinox. You cannot show me anywhere in Torah where the word equinox is listed. It talks about the solar months and all of that, or where it is utilized in the keeping of the feast days. You cannot show me that. It cannot be found. You cannot show me that. Nowhere. Yet they would tell you the day whereby it's the time whereby it's 12 hours day and 12 hours night. And it always comes in the spring of the year. That is not true. I constantly remind us that you can go to a website. Scientifically, they have the information there. The only day in that slither of land called Israel, whereby there is any proximity of closeness to time, it is June the 11th. That's what it was last year. June the 11th. And when the vernal equinox, and you brilliant men, knowing that this has nothing to do with the seasons and the times of Almighty Yah, that we're taken under this delusion, we teach the lies, and many times we don't even teach the people how to keep them. And so many men depend on others to give them some kind of information. There's nothing wrong with that. But we are walking on the delusions of lies. And those that utilize their, what they call the Hanukkah calendar, I would love for someone to send me one. The only uth, or the sign that Yah gave us, was that slither in the heavens. Whereby the first moon, second moon, third moon. Why would he utilize that if it's based upon a solar system, a lunar system? The word solar is not found in Scripture. This is a new thing created by man for what? Commerce. For commerce. We'll talk about that at another time. It says here, for the children of YisraYah'ale, verse 20, and do you command the children of the nation to observe this festival in all their generation? For a commandment, it is a mitzvah to them. One day in every year, in this month shall they celebrate the festival, for it is the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of First Fruit. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraved in its celebration. It's written in the book of the first Torah that we're reading from now. It is engraved on the heavenly tablets. And men, why don't we get together and discuss this? Are you afraid of your own ignorance? I'm not afraid of my ignorance. Because there is no one that tell the nation that I know I am an ignorance man. Well, I'm not ignorant. Well, there are things you're quite ignorant of. Microbiology, can you express that? The terminology? What is the substance of that? A skilled person in any kind of skill set, brickmason, carpenter, electrician, they have skills. And there are aspects of those things I understand, but I certainly can lay a block and bricks. I learned to do that to help build this community. And so we're afraid of our own ignorance. So there are all kinds of theses of doctrines come up. Let me remind us here also, in the 6th chapter of Jubilees, verse 26, 25, and 26. Look what it says. It says, and on the new moon, the Chodesh, of the first month, he was bidden to make himself an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry. He opened the ark and saw the earth. New moon. Here this man in a darkness that enveloped them, the skies and everything. And it was that time, the first month, he gave him a sign. It was dark. They had little holes that they can peer out of, windows. It was dark. And yet the first sign he gave him was the new moon of the first month. Of the first month. How do we, and all of our scholars say, well, the new moon is, when it's dark, on the dark side. Well, the moon in the sense of being dark, it's never dark. It's just not dark. The moon is a light. He made it a great light, an or, a ma'or, light of rejoicing, delight. And he set it in the heavens to guide us along this path concerning the Mo'adim, the feast days, the celebrations. That's what he did, nation. He did that for us. Get me a drink of coconut water with pineapple in its great rehydration. I drink this. Let me have some. And so he laid his season out in order. The first month, he bid him to make for him an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry and opened the ark. And he saw the earth. The first month. He began the process of time. The months had not changed. It is simply he had not seen this beauty of what Yah had placed before him, that he will know the times and the season. Now, what has taken place with us concerning the Mo'adim? It says in verse 27, there are things I want to get to tonight. I'm simply refreshing us from last night. He talks about in verse 27, the new moon of the 10th month. The top of the mountain were seen. Noah was glad. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts, a memoria forever. And thus they are ordained. They are ordained nation by the will of Almighty Yah. I want to drop down to verse 30. If you have the book of Jubilees, I would think it would be an access to you. If you will purchase those books, if you don't have it, Jubilees and Enoch-Honoch. The books that Jubilees is called the lesser Bereshit, or the Genesis, the creation of things at time. And it was compiled as far as the composition by those men that were students, by Pharisees that understood the process of Almighty Yah, his direction. And these are the men that had compiled this for the writing. Look at verse 30. He said, all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. 52. And these will make the entire year complete. Thus is it engraved and ordained on the heavenly tablets. And then he says this, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year, from year to year. And he breaks down this in this process. I want to get verse 32. And commanded you, the children of YisraYah'ale, that they observe year according to this reckoning, 364 days a year. And these will constitute a complete year. You can never, because this is how, as I expressed to us, this is the only way whereby, it's not going to work that way, whereby you can express this. This is how it's done according to this diagram here. And when it comes to the 383 year, 384, 385, I've watched this over many years, and I've been around. I'm not a newbie. I've been around for a long time. Nearly 45 years. So it's not that I'm a newbie. And these men that express themselves, because some of these Hebrew Israelite organizations will rival places like T.D. Jakes and all of that. Their leaders live as royal as the T.D. Jakes and all. Their leaders take the tithes. It's their discretion how to utilize them. No, Yah gives us the discretion of that we may have all that we need in the storehouse. That is where the tithing, offerings, and gifts. You can build homes and buy land, and start community constructs. Young men and the daughters having jobs, don't have to worry about electricity or bills or jobs or driving. You have vehicles and you have your own transportation system. You don't find that among hardly anyone. You don't find that among those that identify the Hebrew Israelites. You don't find that. Show me or tell me, email me, I will contact them. I would visit them to see the excellence of their organization. And these men spend money, utilize it on what they want to. What is the wealth as far as land possession of those that identify with the groups of that sort? How much land do they own? What is the wealth? Money and all that fades. But there is nothing like land. This old white boy, he was a hillbilly. He bought a piece of land from him some years ago near our community. And he said to me, "Preacher, they don't make that no more." He was talking about land. There's not much of that going around. When these organizations should buy tens of thousands of acres, the wealth of any nation, it did not come through the industry of chips. It came by farming and agriculture. That's what our people work, life, farming. I've met them that are millionaires here by farming, just by farming, supplying the food, the cattle, everything you need. And there's enough money among you all to do that. But you're vindictive, there's envy, you say you love everyone, you call each other some of the most degenerative names. I don't even want to mention them of the letter that it starts with. That's just how you embrace them. And when you can own cities, railroad lines and all of that, you have enough money to do that. I could do it if we had enough money. I want to read this. He talks about this reckoning of 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year. And then he said, and they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts. For everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. And they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast day. Where are the elders? I don't know if I would be considered an elder. I'm not 70 yet. I'm at the door. Where are the men, those that were the pioneers of the concept, the identity? And that's what about next teaching. I want to show you the pioneers of the identity of Hebrew Israelites. They came out of all kinds of organizations, Baptist, Methodist. And so they were reared in this form and these concepts that are diametrically opposed to Yah. And there are many still today do not believe in Shabbat. And so they were taught by their masters. That's why. How is it that YHWH, I say it like this, got a white boy's name, Jesus? That's not his name. Well, you got to bring him in. No, it is the Torah truth. It is Haruach that draw all men unto Hamashiach. It is not by your expertise, it's by your ability. It is Yah that draws. It is Yah that pulls. I knew nothing about the Torah to a degree that I could express anything to anyone. It was his power that drew me. It was the things that I learned as a child that drew me and motivated me. Not because I retained them, they became alive in me. And once they began to come alive and the seeds began to produce, I began to go beyond a juvenile state. And as I began to mature over the years and years and years, these young men today, 2 years, and they know everything. 10, and they're masters of knowledge. There is no skill set that you become a master. 2 or 3, 5, 10 years. Even doctors have a greater demand than that. It's only those that say they are the proclaimers. And their lives represent that. It's false. And so a year of Yah is 364, not 365. Let me tell you this, and I'm going to move into a different arena. Excuse me. I remember there was one that would visit. He was a very kind man. He heard me. And so when we began to discuss this, take all those numbers, add them up, and divide them by 6, and see how many days you get. Tell me how many days you get. And so when I pointed out to this one, no, he said, you're celebrating the Moed 353 days. He went on and observed our feast days. I say that's the same way you celebrate them. No different. When it comes to the 383, that's when things change. Well, if you add them, I like the brother. I really did. He's very kind. Very kind. And they are brazen in their own ignorance. I don't care what kind of degree you have. You have a degree, right? But you work a job just like I do. We're enslaved to a master that regards not your Mo'adim, your Shabbats. And so what do I have on you, or you have on me? Nothing, my friends. Nothing at all. Look what he says in verse 33, quickly. But they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandments. Then they will be disturbed all the seasons and the years, and will be dislodged from this order, and they will disturb the seasons and the years, will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinance. We neglect even the things that Yah commands us. We're guilty. All of us were guilty. No difference, my friend. Read this one again, Enoch 6:72. No. Service on the 4th day. I want to go to Enoch 72 and 26. That's where I want to go. Let me look at this. Enoch 72, verse 26. And this were many. He given us the ordinance or the order of the sun. Enoch, the sun's luminary. And he tells us here in 72:26, and that day and night lengthens and becomes 12 parts, or in essence 12 hours, 12 hours. Wherein the day shortens, it becomes 6 parts. Thus the sun completes its appearance and goes through those same cycles of the appearance of a second time, coming out to the opening of the 30th day, and setting also in the west, opposed to it. Well, the only way I can see those that utilize a Hanukkah calendar, what they call this process. But according to the sighting of the moon, these are shorter, some 29, some 30. And what this nation and the world has done, they have added dates and days for their own accommodation. It is all built on commerce, how we can make more money. That's what it's all about, nothing else. One more drink. It says, on the night, and the length of the night decreases by 1/9. 9 minutes per. So the part becomes 11 parts, and the day 7 parts. Then the sun returns, and entering the second gate, which is in the east, resuming its appearance for 30 mornings, rising and setting as usual. On that day the night becomes shorter, so the night becomes 10 parts, and the day 8 parts. And that day the sun departs from its second gate, seeing the west returns to the east, and rise through the third gate for the 31 days. 29 days, 30 days, 31. And this order is based upon the counsel of the moon. Yah established all things by that uth, the sign of that light. That's how he accommodates us. Indeed, he said, on the day the night shortens and becomes 9 parts, verse 32, then the night becomes equal with the day. So it cannot be on the date of the vernal equinox. I say to us all, go to time and date. It's a website that I utilize. Any time, space in the world, the day, the minute, the seconds, it produces all of that. And I go and look at that slither of land we call YisraYah'ale or Israel. And the promise unto Abraham from the great Nile, the great Prat, Euphrates, the promise of Yah. That little piece of land could not accommodate even you, Hebrew Israelites, in this country. It will be overtaxed, overburdened. Do you understand that actually agriculture, there is none there? Everything is brought in to that piece of land. In fact, they grow no barley. They grow no wheat. You go to Israel agriculture departments as far as government. And you can find it all there, and the reason I know that because I've done that. I've gone to look and see how much barley they grow there. How much? It's amazing because these men, Enoch and Noach, there was no barley anything. And this is the sign to us, negating the sign of the heavens that the light shines all over the Olam. These are the false teachings that have sprung up over the many years. And when the 353, 354, in the 383 year, they will always tell you this. While there was no barley, no one seen anything. Well, what's strand of barley? They don't grow barley in that land. It's a fact. It is so minuscule, it is so minute, that it is not even part of the agriculture or even the budget or even one of their crops that make money for that slither of land. That's what I call it. That little slither of land. And that's a fact. Just like it was in the days of Noah when he downed his sons, forget the Moedim of Yah. In time of Abraham, they went, did their thing. They did not watch the order of things and carried out the promises of Almighty Yah. And so that's why we have much confusion in this land. It's everywhere. Nobody knows, and everyone has an explanation, but it doesn't define or express the 364 days by the sign, the oath, and what the book of Enoch teach. Yah has given you the knowledge of showing the nation, open it up. You charge someone for that knowledge, oh, stop that. It has been freely given to you. Then you freely share with the world. I've searched for many years. I'm talking about 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 5, 10 years. 10, 15 years ago, it was not as much on the internet. YouTube, now billions of everyone is a brainiac. I've never found a Enoch calendar. Many of the organizations celebrate what we call Shabbat on Thursday. I've not found one. I've not found their feast days. I've searched in every way, but I have not found their Moedim and how it is drawn out in the way that the Torah teaches us. Look at this when he says here, Enoch 72:32, and on that day and night, short because 9 parts, and he gives us the expression, then the night becomes equal with the day, the days of the year. That's what it says. Adds up to exactly 364 days. Not 365, not 354, 55, nor 383. I don't even know the concept of the 383. 384. How was that? Show me any place in Torah where it teach that. And so one like me that diametrically oppose that, you would think that I'm foolish. Because you don't know. You don't know how to in any way to find out, because leaders don't teach you that. Tell me of a class that's online where they teach you how to keep the Moedim. There's one thing that I do know, that everything that is what we call, quote, the Jewish, unquote, doctrine, I can find that on a website called Chabad, Chabad, Chabad. And that's where every Jew goes. Every kind of order of what they call the Jewish religion, believe me, it's there on that site. And these, or that site and the leaders, they are what we call the Lubavitch. and the other ones out of Russia. There is no man that has searched the word Jew like I have. I put together profound writing many years ago. I got to find it because I have tens of thousands of pages, over 100,000 pages of research. And I search things out, the historical content. It's not a word. Jew, you. It's not a word. And those that are my Jews say, we are the real Jews. Well, I'm not a Jew. Not me. It has no meaning. The word Jew was not even in the 1611 in the KJV. I'm going to find that research I did, and I'm going to show you how this word became a part of the dynamics of this book. Can I proceed a little further? Is it anyone listening? You want to give me a call? Area code 843-658-6222. Give me a call. This system is somewhat antiquated. I'm just here with an old laptop that I've had for the past minimum 25 years. Minimum. Let me proceed just a little further, and the time of those days will add up to precisely this is what Enoch says, 364 days. And then in Enoch 74:1, hallelujah. That was in Enoch 72 that I just read from verse 26 to 32. Let me read this quickly in Enoch 74, beginning at verse 1. It says this. This is what Enoch said. Furthermore, I saw another system of rotation with its own regulation whereby the system fulfills its lunar course a moment. You will think somewhere in this book there will be a descriptive term or something that relates to what we call this, not the lunar time, but the time whereby we look at this book, whereby there is no time spoken when it comes to the times of Yah concerning the lunar course, the lunar month. Not a solar year or a solar month. The word is nowhere found in the Torah. Only one word expressed, that's the word Y-O-M, Y-O-M-E, Yom. The only place. He says in verse 2, all these things include their fixed position. YisraYah'ale, the Melach, the Kodash Melach, who is the God of all of them. Enoch said he showed me, he opened my eyes to see. And I wrote down their fixed positions as he showed them to me. I wrote down. That's Enoch 74 and verse 2. He says, I wrote down their lunar course. Not solar, but the lunar course as they were, as well as the variableness or the variations aspect of their illumination until the completion of the 15th day. He talks about the moon now, not the sun. And the moon waned in 15 steps during the period of 15 days, and it waxed in 14 steps. 15, 14, that sound close to 29. And the east and the west respectively. In certain designated month, it also alters its westernly setting, and a certain designated month is fulfilled its usual course of movement. Then it tells me in verse 5, for the 2 lunar cycles, the moon set with what? The sun. And use these 2 middle openings, which are the 3rd and the 4th gate. It comes out for 7 days, complete its circle as it returns again to the gates, which the sun rise. In this manner, it walks, it gains, recedes from the sun, enter into the 6th gate, through which the sun rise in the 8th day. When the sun rises to the 4th gate and the moon comes out for 7 days until it starts coming out to the 5th, it then turns back toward the 4th gate in the 7th day, waxing as it recedes and enter into the 1st gate. Now this is quite a bit of info here. Now with those of scholarship in our forefathers' days, they would sit and watch. Those that were of the priesthoods, those that were the Pharisaic, that they will watch, they will write, and they were observers of the time of Yah. We have no one like that today. We get of our knowledge of YouTube and reading the opinion of others. We speak words so we don't even know the meaning of the words. They're not even cognate in our minds. That's a fact. We say words we have no understanding of what the word entails, what it defines, what it means. We're an ignorant people, I know I am. We are a people that is defiant when it comes to learning, instruction, and one teaching us. We know everything, although we spend no time in understanding the process. We spend no time. And that is the reason we cannot be legitimately honest with ourselves. We are pretenders. And everyone knows everything overnight. My. Wow, that is amazing. 1st grade, I knew everything. 2nd, 5th, 10th, 12th. No need of higher education and learning. We don't need to be taught at a depth that it creates this momentum of desire for we want to learn. We don't address ourselves like that. You come in knowing everything overnight. Well, I've been around for a long time. I'm getting older. I feel it in my physical being. And I know that my time is not as long as it has been. My days of walking on this earth, it is not as long or many as I have walked. And that is a fact. That's a fact. You began to reach a certain plateau of life. We ought to appreciate our Abba with great appreciation every second of the day. He gives us beyond the period of time and even at more. Yet we are just as ignorant as we were when we first thought they call our names. He said to this 5th gate, or the 5th, it then turns backwards to the 4th gate in 7 days. 7 days waxing, it recedes and enter the 1st gate of the 8th. Then again, it returns. It gives us the process here in Enoch-Honoch 72:26. And it also tells us here the course of this whole ordeal. But verse 12 it says, and they bring about all the years with punctually, so that they forever neither gain upon nor fall behind their fixed position for a single day. But they convert the year with punctuously justice into 364 days. Where have we messed up? Where have we lost the track? Where those that established the road map for us in the 20s, 30s, we must understand that they were not in the multitude. Let's be honest. They were not men of enormous educational skill set because everything was against them. They were not able to learn. They could not attend the kinds of schools that had some material that they could learn. They could not enter into the type of schools, those that, quote, that were Jews and understand certain aspects of this book. They could not. And so most of the universities in this nation for people of my hue was started by, quote, churches, unquote. That's all of them. And those churches' doctrine and teachings came from those that oppressed them and sold them, put them in bondage of slavery. And so they were on a subpar level with those that were the higher educated. So knowledge was kept from them. And then when that people come to terms that there was inroads, they left off from even, quote, a God, unquote. I don't like gods. I don't respect any gods because there's so many. Which God? The God of the Caucasian is different than the God of people of different hue, especially that look like me, because they are the supreme ones, they're superior, and their level of understanding far exceeds yours. They know how to kill you. They know how to burn your life. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Vietnam, Agent Orange, that killed both of my brothers, Vietnam veterans. They know how to do evil things that will melt your body. Nuclear, burn your life so quickly. We must face the facts of these things. These are those that you learn your concepts from, and your leaders of 100 years ago that inspired you to the Hebraic knowledge. It was somewhat a mixture of everything there was, keeping the Shabbat, but their principles are based on the doctrine of the white Christian church. That's why you still call him Jesus, Lord God. We don't want to face the factuality of things. We're the strong warriors today. I'm too old to be a strong warrior. And that's just a fact. Let me get back to Hanuk 75:1. It talks about the leaders of the chiefs of the 1,000 which appointed over the whole creation, and upon the stars are counted together with the 4 leaders of the season. 4 leaders for a season. They do not leave from the fixed station according to the reckoning of the year. And they render service on the 4 days which are not counted in the reckoning of the year. If you can teach me this, come visit me. That's the truth. But I want you to prove this. What do those 4 days imply? They got every kind of concept. Everything. On this account, the people err in them, for those luminaries scrupulous render service to the fixed position, and the cosmos, one and the first gate of the heavens, and the third and the fourth. And there are you that will come and tell me every gate and how the stars enter into the hemispheres, or how the visibility of them, you know it. But yet you can't explain it. And one of the 6 in the matter of years is complete scrupulously. It is done scrupulously in 364 fixed stations of the cosmos. Now, that's what the book says. I did a little experimenting here. I added the Enoch days, what Hanukkah talks about, 353 to 12 days, but that will make it 365 days in a year. And then we'll go up to 366, and then we'll go up to 367 days. That's how they do these. So where's the writing of the old scholars that have moved on? Those are the different organizations. Everyone keeps it this way. I said to one day, you got 383 days. How does that comply with Hanukkah? Yet they could not explain that. And he dressed in a way that everything was Jewish. I liked the man. I liked him. I really did. Every now and then he would respond, but I haven't heard from him in many, many years. Many. There were people that would come from all over. I'm telling you. They will come and visit and see the beauty of what Yah has done, simple life. They will come. And many did not concur with the teachings, but they certainly would come and visit and see the beauty of Yah's work here. And they will know that it was something special. I've had too many to tell me that. Because it is a special place here. It is. You've got communities where they believe in polygyny, and polygamy, polyandry. They just believe in polygamy, not polyandry and polygamy. They all come from the poly. I am going to do a teaching on that during the course of the winter and show you these dogs that calling themselves satisfied concubines and wives, they're not wise. Just their hoe. That's all it is. I have never seen one group of them last. From the Bitternmeans to the Yorks, raping the women, is coming down. Because it is not the matter that Yah ordained. I've never seen any of them. And I've been around for a long, long time. Even in the days when Barak there in Florida had them selling all and everything, because there's a display of some of the most corrupt lusts. Man finds a wife, singular. He finds an excellent thing. Where have we gone wrong in keeping the Shabbats? I want to read this, and I'm going to close here tonight unless someone calls me. Area code 843-658-6222. Jubilees 637. It tells us, for this reason the years will come upon them when they will be disturbed the order and make an abominable day. That's what they've done. The day of testimony and an unclean day of feast. And they will confound all the days of the Kodesh and the unclean. And the unclean day with the Kodesh, they will go wrong. As to the months and the Shabbats and the feasts and the Jubilees, we have gone wrong. I'm going to stay the course, and whereby when I see that slither of light, I'm taking that course. Another course. Because in your time we have people, I will not, let me put it this way. There are nations in the northern, I learned these things in school, the northern, southern hemisphere, when I went to an all segregated school with only people that look like me. And how that doing every year in this northern, whereby we say YisraYah'ale, and America, they can celebrate what we call the Pesach and the nice spring of the year. Yet our brothers and sisters, listen, you that are saying that these organizations, now the Hebrew Israelite organization, that are saying that we have forgotten our African, that's what they said. These are the men that years back, 20 years back, they were calling them dogs. These are the same men that were saying in 2000 is coming to an end. Nothing happened. They have always justified their wrong. I am wrong, I am wrong. They will go wrong to the months and the Shabbats, the feasts and the Jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. For after the death of your children, that's what he says, will disturb them so that they will not make the year 364 days. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new month, the seasons, Shabbats, festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood and all kinds of flesh. And that is what we're doing this day. You don't know what you're eating when you're buying things at stores. There is no way that I would eat at a restaurant, your McDonald's and all of that, any restaurant. I don't care whether they call it kosher or whether they call it, whether it's an Arabic restaurant, whether they call it halal. I don't care. I don't eat in places like that, full of poison. They eat shrimp, lobsters, and halal. And even those that calls it kosher, they got kosher, I believe they got kosher pork now. He gives us an ordinance that he has ordained. We are the strong men. That was always my cry to Yah. We are the strong men, the wise men. We are the students of this book that labor and study. We are the Levi. Where are they that study, lay their hearts to this book to understand every facet? Where are they? Where are those that are proclaimers go, and they are not loved by many? Because they come to tear down the stronghold of our minds and to destroy every element of darkness in us. And so we have in this nation tens of thousands of forms of what we call Hebrew Israelites. They dog each other. No respect, but they call them brothers. This is my brother. Yet, the smallest of infractions, they will utilize some of the most degenerative terms. You call anyone that expression what the white man called us. Something is sick in your mind. something is sick, and you do it all the day. Look at all these men, the one that was following York and all of them. What's his name? Just went to prison for raping a daughter of a woman that trusted him. That's what many of them do. How can a man satisfy 5 wives? He cannot. Let me see this Inglewood. YisraYah'ale, who's calling? My friend Barak, how are you this blessed day? Can we hold on for 1 minute, Marcella? Are we able to pick that up, Akeem? Okay. Give me 1 second, my friend. We're in the process of getting our system set up. It is so antiquated. Speaker, I got talk. I don't see that on this telephone speaker. 1 second, my friend. I thought you all had it hooked in, man. Why? What? So can we pick it up back there? Do I have to put it up near the mic? Marcella, Barak, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing fine, dear sir.
That's
just wanted to let you know that I'm paying attention. I'm trying to take notes. I do have the book of Jubilees.
yes.
I try to follow as much as I can. I'm not the brightest man, but
Neither of us. I'm not. I can make that same testimony, my friend.
well, dear sir, you were quite smarter than me.
Stop that. What is smart, my friend? What is smart? Hold on for a minute now. I don't even allow that kind of promotion of me in anything.
Okay.
I don't know how to do anything, but I know how to figure things out, my friend.
Yes, sir.
And so we all have that brilliancy of light and knowledge in us. He did not make us void. He did not make us incapable of learning. I've learned everything in life, my friend, by being quiet and able to listen. People today don't listen to no one. That's factual. Children not to their parents. Wives don't listen to their husbandman. And the husbandman certainly does not listen to his wife. And so we have this dysfunctional society. And we blame everyone but me. It's me. It's not you, my friend. We disagree because I don't like the way you said it. I don't like what you are thinking. So I'm going to disagree with you. And you're going to disagree with me. I didn't mean to say all that. So glad to hear from you, my friend, and appreciate all your kindness.
Well, it's very good to talk to you, dear sir. I just wanted to let you know that I'm paying attention. I'm trying to gather information.
Yes.
In hopes to be able to stand on Yahweh's name as you do.
Yeah, we can stand on it, my friend. We stood on everything as we can stand on his name. We can.
Okay.
It's all in your heart, the will.
Yes, that's all I have, dear sir. That's all I have.
That's all it is. I said to one day, I said the word, you know, people will say, well, I want to do Yah's will. Well, what do you think the word will is? Do you think it's some kind of platform you got to, or some kind of instruction? No, it's chavetz. What please Yah? You just do it.
Yes.
Whatever please him, that's his will. That's what the word implies. His chavetz. Just to please him in your actions, your desire. That's all it means, my brother. It doesn't mean something extraordinary. It means something simple that anyone can comprehend. Whatever this book says to please him, we do it. That's his will. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
I just wanted to say, dear elder, thank you for being my friend.
Yes, sir.
I love you.
Yes.
I truly love what you're doing, and because of you and Elder Johnson over there in Baltimore, I feel like I'm coming full circle in the name of YHWH.
All right, my friend.
All right.
Barak, shalom. Shalom.
Over to you too. Shalom.
Shalom. All right. Anyone else? I'm sitting here, it's 9:20 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to take another sip of this coconut pineapple water. It is one of the best things. I'm not promoting it because I would not get one dime, but I tell you, the older I've got, my body doesn't hydrate like it used to. I was one that could get out and run 10 miles. I would run here. I just lost that ability to do the kinds of exercises and lifting strong weight, heavy weight, probably in the last 5-6 years. That's it. But I worked out twice a day, in the morning and in the afternoon. First day of the week, I would do 10,000 steps. I could lose 8 to 10 pounds one day. That evening, I would get out and do 5 miles, and I would go to the gym. I just don't, first of all, I don't have the time for that now. And I just don't have that ability anymore, but I made time back then. I was young, I was strong, I was younger, and I was strong. And I did that, and even to this day, my body, I'm in decent shape, my knees and things, because of all the things I did. That is that's my handicap now of what I've done to my body. Anyone else? If not, I'm going to close tonight. It's 8:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Jefferson, South Carolina. And we must understand the principles of Almighty Yah, His truth, what He commands us to do, and how we must walk according to His will. We all must walk the same way. We all must walk the same way, and we must do asa to perform what He commands us, that the world will see, and everyone will see that we are the elect of YisraYah'ale. Another call before I close on tonight. Do join us on the Shabbat for great teaching. We may understand this truth, and it may make us free from no one but you. You don't have to be free from me. You must be free from you. Anyone else? If not, I'm going to say to you, all my friends, Ya Barak, may His Shalom rest upon you in a mighty way in Yahshua's mighty name. Shalom, Shalom, Ya Barak.